GamingBolt presents 15 weirdest gaming stories from 2017. Another year, another buffet of gaming stories that range from the fantastical to the somber. However, this year also had its fair share of bizarre happenings, from announcements and crazed rants to unusual mods and greedy yet incompetent publisher practices. Let's take a look at 15 of the weirdest gaming stories from 2017. Persona 5 spoiler bots. When Persona 5 first released, Atlus was so gung-ho about preventing spoilers from leaking that it actually threatened content creators and streamers with account suspensions. To that point, someone created Twitter bots for Persona 5 to spoil the game should it ever be referenced on Twitter. This resulted in the official Persona 5 Twitter receiving spoilers every time hashtag Persona 5 was used. Justice. JOSEF Fares loses his mind. You have to wonder how A Way Out creator JOSEF Fares was contemplating his day at the Game Awards. Was he really planning to say "F the Oscars" and flip off the camera? Was he really planning to say that A Way Out doesn't have the EA shit with loot boxes, before saying that all publishers f up sometimes? We don't know, but it made for high comedy regardless. Need for Speed Payback video, starring Marcus Nilsson. Ghost Games' Need for Speed Payback, like Star Wars Battlefront 2, was controversial for its inclusion of loot boxes. Not that the rest of the game was better without it, but that just made this list's particular entry all the stranger. At EA's Gamescom 2017 conference, Ghost Games founder Marcus Nilsson was part of a live-action car commercial, which quickly devolved into vehicular mayhem and destruction before he finally appeared on stage with the same car. It's truly something you have to see to believe. FORTNITE'S accidental console crossplay. Sony became infamous for rejecting cross-platform play with Microsoft's Xbox One, despite having it for PC for games like Rocket League. So when Fortnite accidentally turned on support for crossplay between Xbox One and PS4, Sony's talks of infrastructure and difficulties seemingly evaporated into thin air. Crossplay was turned off not too long after, but it was still amazing to see. PORSCHE 911 modded to play Doom. You've played Doom on a variety of consoles and PC. You've played it on handhelds and even partaken of the magic that is brutal Doom. But you've never played it on a PORSCHE 911. We're not sure why you would, but YouTuber Vexel still made it happen, showing us the proper way to steer and strafe at the same time. Anti-Creation Club mod. The Creation Club was one of the more irritating parts of Fallout 4 and the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition this year. Despite giving it the benefit of the doubt, it was obviously just a ploy to sell players content that was essentially mods or lame cosmetics at worst. To that end, some enterprising modders created a mod to hide the Creation Club in Fallout 4. That's some Inception level work right there, but we salute them. Destiny 2 anti-XP gain. So first, Destiny 2 strips nearly everything that made Destiny 1 so great in its final year. Then it relegated many items earned through in-game play behind Eververse Cash Shop. Then it offered no in-game for hardcore players. And then it throttled XP gain for players, likely to push them towards buying Bright Engrams, aka loot boxes. Bungie would later address this, saying that the system was not working as intended and would remove it. Then it went and doubled the XP requirements for Bright Engrams. We could go on, but really we don't want to. Star Fox 2 finally releases. Star Fox 2 seemed like a no-brainer for the Super Nintendo back in the 90s. The first game was a hit and the second would be bigger and better. However, it was supposed to release in 1996, which was very close to the Nintendo 64's launch. In order to ensure a clean break between both generations, Star Fox 2 was cancelled. That doesn't mean it wasn't completed, and when the SNES Classic was announced this year, what else should show up but Star Fox 2? It had its share of positive and negative reviews, but the fact that Star Fox 2 eventually released over 2 decades later is still incredible. Mario plus Rabbids initial leaks. I have yet to see a single person who saw the leaked artwork for Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle and thought, you know, that should be good. The concept as a whole looked bizarre. Famed platforming hero Mario teaming up with the Rabbids to use hand blasters. Really? In a tactical turn-based RPG? Really? The game's subsequent reveal and the gameplay thankfully proved us wrong, and it was a fun experience as a whole, but those initial art leaks were seriously foreboding. Devolver Digital's E3 2017 presser. Less of a conference and more like a surreal trip hosted by Nina Struthers, Devolver Digital's E3 presser was something else. It had its share of reveals like Ruiner and a new Serious Sam game, but the entire event was simply a series of shots at E3 tropes. Bloodshed, Struthers bleeding from the nose as the event closed. It was like wandering into a Lynch film. PUBG'S blockbuster success. Perhaps one of the strangest stories of the year is PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. This was a game created by Brenton Green, who was involved with mods for H1Z1 that came out just out of nowhere and exploded in popularity. Even developer Bluehole Studio thought it would sell a few 100,000 copies at best. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds has since gone on to sell over 25 million copies while still in early access. It crushed Steam concurrent user records and started a battle royale phenomenon in less than a year since its debut. The DARWIN Project Shoutcaster. The DARWIN Project's reveal at Microsoft's E3 2017 was intriguing. Then we got to the actual gameplay and it was revealed to be a multiplayer survival shooter, which is all well and good, but suddenly Jethro Tull, not the musician, appeared and suddenly started shoutcasting. On top of ruining any kind of enjoyment we could have had from the reveal, it was meant to make the gameplay compelling and seemed to have the opposite effect.
And what a play from the Wounded Warrior! She was caught in a trap, but she used superior tactics to get herself out of there. She's gonna take the win. Let's move on to the next arena. Here we're following Bloody Marrow. There's only 2 players left in this particular map. Those tracks are leading up, but that tree is gonna give them direct information. Gonna do the damage in the arrow to the belly. That's gonna be the win for Bloody Marrow. Bloody Marrow wins the round.
MARC LAIDLAW and EPISTLE 3. MARC LAIDLAW is famous for writing the Half-Life series, thus giving us one of the greatest FPS narratives of all time. However, as Valve stalled with releasing Half-Life 2 Episode 3 and subsequent episodes after, LAIDLAW would leave the company this year. He then released a short story called EPISTLE 3 starring Gertie Fremont, and it quickly became obvious that this might have been the plot for the long-lost Episode 3. Alas, it's a bittersweet reveal that's come too late. Peter Moore leaves EA, joins Liverpool FC. From EA Sports president to EA COO, Peter Moore had quite the history with the infamous publisher. So it was kind of surprising that he left earlier this year to join Liverpool Football Club as its CEO. Moore has always had the love of the sport, even appearing on stage with several well-known football managers for FIFA 16's reveal at EA Play 2016. Still, to see the man make a jump from video games into football was quite unexpected to say the least. Atari returns to the console space. And as if everything else wasn't enough, Atari decided to re-enter the console space over 20 years since the Jaguar's launch with the Atari box. The goal is pretty much what you'd expect, a system that's capable of playing the old Atari games of yore. It will also apparently run new indie games thanks to the presence of Linux. The Atari box was scheduled to hit Indiegogo on December 14th, but then announced a delay for the same. Sounds just like the old Atari if you ask us. And that'll be about it for this one. If you guys like what we're doing at GamingBolt, please consider subscribing to our channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.